Asterisk, the innkeeper's expression changes. Something quieter comes over him. He sets his cup down, looks at the fire for a moment before he speaks. Asterisk. Hi. I was wondering when you'd ask for this one. This is the one I don't tell sober. Good thing I'm not sober. A tale for the Yule fire. There is a forest east of the Greymark Hills that doesn't have a name anymore. It had one once. The old maps call it Eldon Vast, but nobody who lives near it calls it that. They don't call it anything. You ask a local about the forest to the east, and they'll look at you sideways and say that would and leave a silence after it that you're meant to understand. Most people understand. Our four did not, because nobody told them, which is the kind of thing that seems like an oversight until you realize nobody wanted to be the one to say it out loud. They were passing through. That's all. Cutting east to reach the city of Dunmore before the first hard frost. And the road through that would save 3 days over going around. 3 days. That's what it cost them to find out why you go around. The forest was wrong from the first step in. Not wrong in a way you could point at. The trees were trees. The path was a path. Snow on the branches, same as anywhere. But Sarah stopped at the treeline and stood there for a long moment. And she had the look she got when something was off. Not afraid, just attending. The way a cat attends to a wall that has made a sound. What? Said Brindle. Nothing's moving, she said. He looked around. Snow, trees, path. It's winter, he said. Things still move in winter, she said. Mice, birds, wind in the branches. Listen. He listened. She was right. The forest was absolutely, completely, perfectly still. Not quiet, still. The difference between a sleeping thing and a held thing. Ashen, said Brindle. Ashen had his hand out already, fingers spread, eyes half closed, reading the air the way he did. There's something here, he said. Helpful, said Sarah. Something old, layered, like, he searched for the word, like sediment. Many things over a very long time, all in the same place. What kind of things? A pause. Memories, he said. I think. Memories that got left behind. Marin had said nothing yet. She was looking at the path ahead, her holy symbol in her hand. Not raised, just held. The way you hold something that reminds you who you are. We go through, she said quietly. We stay on the path. We don't stop. We don't answer anything that calls us by name. 3 beats of silence. That's oddly specific, said Ashen. Yes, said Marin, and walked in. The first hour was merely unsettling. The sense of being watched that never resolved into anything watching. The way your own footsteps sounded slightly delayed, like the forest was repeating them a half-second later, just to prove it could. The trees' old-growth vast trunks that seemed to lean incrementally toward the path without ever being caught moving. Ashen noted everything in his book. Writing helped him. It made the world into information, and information was manageable. Sarah kept her eyes moving, roof to roots, left to right, back the way they come. She didn't speak. In bad places, Sarah went quiet and sharp, like a blade that's been drawn and hasn't decided yet. Brindle walked at the front with his axe loose in his hand, and his jaw set, and his eyes forward. His way of managing things was simpler. If something came at him, he would hit it. The forest offered nothing to hit, which was in some ways worse. And Marin walked and prayed. Not loudly, barely even moving her lips, but continuously, steadily. The way a heartbeat is continuous and steady. The thing that keeps everything else going. The first thing happened at dusk. The light went strange, not dark, just off, like the sun had gone behind something that wasn't a cloud. And Ashen stopped walking. Ashen, said Brindle. There's a house, said Ashen. They looked. Through the trees, maybe 30 feet off the path. A structure. Stone walls, collapsed roof, dark windows. Old. Very old. Stay on the path, said Marin, without looking. Yes, but Ashen started. Ashen. There are markings on the lintel that I believe are pre-reckoning in origin and potentially. If you leave this path, said Marin, still not looking, still walking, I will not be able to help you. Do you understand? Not won't. Can't. A silence. Ashen looked at the house, then at the path, then at Marin's back. He stayed on the path. Later, days later, safe in Dunmore, warm and dry and fed, he told Brindal that the markings on the lintel hadn't been writing. He'd recognized that as they passed. They were tallies, counted marks, hundreds of them, thousands maybe. He didn't say what he thought they were counting. Brindal didn't ask. The second thing happened in the deep night. They'd made camp on the path. Marin had insisted on the path itself, not off it, and kept a fire going, and taken watches. Brindal had the middle watch, which was the worst one, the one where the night is at its thickest. He heard it around the second hour. His name, not shouted, not called, just spoken, quietly, almost gently, in a voice he recognized so completely and so wrongly that his whole body went cold in a way that had nothing to do with the temperature. His father's voice, dead 18 years. Brindal, it said, from somewhere off the path, in the dark between the trees. He sat absolutely still. It said his name again, closer. He did not move, did not answer, did not look. He put his hand on his axe, and he stared at the fire, and he said, in a voice that barely shook at all, "That's not you." Silence. Then, from directly behind him, so close he should have felt breath, "No," said the voice. And it wasn't his father's anymore, just something that had tried that shape and found it insufficient. "But you thought it was." For a moment, Brindal agreed. "That's enough," the voice said. And then it was gone, like a lamp going out. Just gone. Brindal sat there until the watch ended. He woke Sarah without speaking, just touched her shoulder, and she looked at his face and asked no questions. He didn't sleep again that night. None of them did, really. You could tell by morning. But nobody said so. The third thing was the worst, and it happened to all of them. And I'll tell it the way it was told to me, which is carefully and not all at once. Mid-morning of the second day, the path wound through a section of the forest where the trees grew so thick and tall that the sky disappeared entirely. Just a closed canopy, gray-green light filtering down like they were underwater. And they found themselves walking through a village, or rather, through where a village had been. Foundations only, stone outlines in the snow, the ghost of a settlement, a well, a green, the shape of a market square. And in the market square, standing perfectly still, facing away from them, people, dozens of them, men, women, children, all standing, all facing the same direction, all completely motionless in the way that things are motionless when they have never been and will never be alive. And yet, Brindal stopped. They all stopped. "Don't," said Marin. "I'm not doing anything," said Brindal. "I know. I'm saying it anyway. Don't." They stood at the edge of that square, and the figures stood in it, and nobody moved and nothing happened, and it lasted exactly as long as it needed to last to become one of those things that lives behind your eyes forever after. Then Sarah said very quietly, "The path goes through the square." She was right. The path went straight through the middle of it. "Of course it does," said Brindal. They walked through, single file, path only, eyes forward. The figures didn't move. But Ashen, who was last in line, and who would say later that he should have known better, that he absolutely knew better, looked. Just for a moment. Just a glance. Just to see if they had faces. Asterisk, the innkeeper stops. The fire has burned low. He doesn't move to add wood. Asterisk. They did. He didn't tell the others what he'd seen on those faces until much later. Months later. A different inn, a different fire. After enough distance had accumulated to make words possible. What he saw was this. They weren't screaming. They weren't anguished. They weren't the faces of people in torment. They were just sad. Quietly, endlessly, completely sad. Like people who have been waiting for something for so long that they've stopped expecting it to come, but can't quite stop waiting anyway. He told Marin first. Because he told her things first. She was quiet for a long time after. Then she said, "I know. I saw them too." "You said don't look." "I know what I said." A pause. "Did you recognize any of them?" he asked. The longest pause of all. "No," she said, "but I think they recognized us. They came out of the forest on the third day mid-afternoon. into flat open farmland with gray winter sky above and a road and a signpost and the distant smoke of a village and all the ordinary, unremarkable beauty of the world going about its business. They stood at the treeline for a moment. Nobody said anything. Then Brindle turned to look back at the forest. Just once, taking stock of it, the way he took stock of things, directly, completely, without looking away. Then he turned back to the road. 3 days saved, he said. Yes, said Sarah. Worth it. A long silence. Ask me in a year, she said. The innkeeper looks at the dying fire. They made Dunmore by nightfall. Got a room each, which was a luxury they didn't usually spring for. Ate separately, which they never did. Sometimes you need a wall around you, even from the people you trust most. Maybe especially from them, because they saw what you saw, and sometimes you need a moment where nobody who knows is looking at you. Brindle sat in his room with his father's coin, the one from Varenhold, in his hand, and thought about a voice in the dark that had known the exact right shape to take. Sarah sat in hers and catalogued what she had and had not been afraid of, because that was how she made sense of herself. Ashen wrote 11 pages of notes, and then closed the book and didn't open it again for 2 months. And Marin, I don't know what Marin did that night. She never said, and it didn't seem like the right thing to ask. The forest is still there, east of the Greymark Hills. No name. The locals call it that wood and leave the silence after it. Nobody's mapped what's inside it. Nobody's cleared it. Nobody's explained it. It's just there. Has been for as long as anyone can remember. Longer, probably. I asked Brindle once what he thought it was. What was actually in there, under all of it. He thought for a long time. Grief, he said finally. I think it's just grief. The forest took on grief somehow a long time ago. Lost people, lost things, things that couldn't finish. And it never learned how to put it down. Can forest grieve? I asked. He picked up his cup. Can't everything? He said. Long silence. The fire has gone to embers now, red and slow. Don't go east of the Greymark Hills. Go around. The 3 days aren't worth it. But if you do go, stay on the path. Don't leave it for anything. Don't answer your name in the dark. And whatever you do, don't look to see if they have faces. Very quietly. Right. I think that's enough for one night. Somebody put that fire out. And gods keep you all till morning.